Pokemon games go through a lot of trial and error before they ultimately end up on the shelf ready for us to buy. This, of course, includes the Pokemon themselves, and one part of Pokemon designs that change more than you might think are their typings. At various points in development, some Pokemon had wildly different typings to what they do now, and in this video we will be showcasing 25 such Pokemon in particular, which is all made possible by the support of today's wonderful sponsor, Ridge Wallet. So, chances are you are a person who owns a wallet. Well, simply put, you are not experiencing the best wallet experience if you don't have a Ridge Wallet. I use one myself and I cannot recommend it enough. It holds 12 cards plus cash and just makes the act of carrying around a wallet every day so much nicer. You wouldn't really think that something as small as that could get any better, but trust me, it gets a lot better with the Ridge Wallet. Outside of my own opinion though, these wallets also have an additional 30,000 5-star reviews online, they come in over 30 colors and styles, they have RFID blocking technology to keep your credit card information safe, they have a lifetime warranty, so this is literally going to be the last wallet you ever buy, and they even come with a 45-day money-back guarantee in the unlikely event that they're not your thing. And just to add a cherry on top to all of that, you can even get 10% off on one of these wallets with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/hoops and entering code HOOPS at checkout. The link for that will be in the description below. Ridge are honestly amazing and help me to produce the content that you all enjoy on this channel, so show them some love with that link in the description, and thank you once again to them for supporting the channel. Okay, so let's begin with some Pokemon who had their types changed pretty drastically. Coming from the treasure trove that is the 1997 Pokemon Gold and Silver demo, at that point in those games' development, Snubbull was a Psychic type, Umbreon was a Poison type, and Unknown was a Normal type. Starting with Umbreon, it not only began as a Poison type, but also evolved via the Poison Stone, a scrapped evolutionary item that was planned to be introduced in Generation 2. Unknown being Normal type, meanwhile, is pretty interesting considering there's not much that is normal about it, but we will get into why that might be a little later. Snubbull, on the other hand, being a Psychic type, is really interesting because it actually supports a wild theory I had a while back that Snubbull could have actually been a legendary Pokemon at one point. Not only does the Psychic type support this, as Psychic was very much a legendary type back in the day, but it also didn't evolve and was near the very end of the Pokedex at this time, next to all the legendaries. Celebi was also not present at this time either, so maybe Snubbull was going to be the original Celebi before Celebi came around. Whether that's true or not though, Snubbull being a Psychic type at all at one point is still pretty wild. Next, let's move over to Gen 3 for a sec and look at some Hoenn Pokemon. Thanks to a leak of Ruby and Sapphire's source code back in 2020, a number of beta elements were revealed about those games, including some Pokemon that originally had different types. For instance, Loudred was once a fighting type, and Taillow and Swellow as well as Swablu were pure flying. Loudred being a fighting type actually makes a lot of sense, although its relatives Wishmer and Exploud were still normal types at this stage, so this could be evidence of possibly an error or a balancing experiment to see what this family being fighting type could be like for the game as a whole. While Taillow, Swellow, and Swablu, meanwhile, are all flying type in the final game as they are here, they are not pure flying type. A pure flying type Pokemon is something that wouldn't happen until Generation 5 with Tornadus, and we wouldn't get Pokemon with flying as their primary type until Generation 6 with Noibat and Noivern, so it seems like the pure flying type is something that Game Freak wanted to implement sooner with some of these Hoenn Pokemon, but for whatever reason they held back on the idea until a few years later. There were also some minor type changes in Hoenn as well, such as Marshtomp and Swampert being pure water type and not part ground, Crawdaunt lacking its dark type and also being pure water, and Shiftry being normal type. Other Pokemon that were oddly normal type at one point include Corsola, who is Water Rock, Celebi, who is Grass Psychic, Chinchou, who is Water Electric, and even Ho-Oh, who was normal flying instead of fire flying. It is obviously pretty strange to have Pokemon of such a wide type range all be normal type, but one possible explanation, courtesy of Cut Content website The Cutting Room Floor, is that the normal type was simply used as a placeholder here, while these Pokemon waited to get their official types later on. That does seem likely, but also odd considering that these Pokemon, even in their beta stage, clearly do not appear as if they were designed as normal types. So, kind of an interesting situation for sure, but still cool to know that these Pokemon have the normal type in their history. Now we're gonna change gears for a sec and include something that is actually a bonus. This does not count towards the 25 Pokemon on this list because it's kind of a different situation, but still cool. And that is the fact that in Gen 1, until about halfway through development, Pokemon didn't even have types at all. This is according to art director Ken Sugimori via an interview that was translated by Pokemon historian Dr. Lava. According to Sugimori, giving types to Pokemon that had already been made is also the reason why certain Pokemon show their type in their design, like Charmander having a flame on its tail, or Venusaur having a plant growing on its back. So not only did many Kanto Pokemon have their types change, technically speaking, but their designs also changed as a result of this as well, which is pretty dang cool. Alright, getting back into the normal stuff, let's look at some more Pokemon who had completely different types at one point to what they do now. During the beta days of Gold and Silver, Shuckle was once Rock Ground instead of Rock Bug, Pineco was Grass type instead of Bug, Mischievous was Ghost Dark instead of Pure Ghost, Delibird was Water Ice instead of Ice Flying, and Sunflora was, if you can believe it, Grass Psychic. I have no idea what would have prompted Sunflora to have the Psychic type at any point in time, especially because it's not like that would have been a placeholder like the normal types from before, but I'm glad they ultimately went with Pure Grass, because a giant sentient sunflower with psychic powers is a little too much for me to handle, to be honest. These other Pokemon, meanwhile, all had types that they are good fits for. Shuckle could justifiably be part ground, Pineco could definitely be a grass type, Delibird could be water since it is kinda penguin-ish, and Mischievous could definitely be dark, which at the time would have given this Pokemon no weaknesses, and that is probably why all of these were changed, in order to balance out the games just a little better. Heading back to Hoenn, we have a few more Pokemon from there who had minor type changes, including both sets of fossil Pokemon, Lileep, Cradily, Anorith, and Armaldo, who were pure rock types instead of rock grass and rock bug, respectively. Other dual-typed Pokemon who only had one type at one point are the Aggron family, who were pure steel instead of steel rock, which they would interestingly end up reverting back to later on with Mega Aggron. And possibly Rayquaza, who was another pure flying type instead of dragon flying. This one is somewhat unofficial though, because while there is a Pokemon that is described in Ruby and Sapphire's source code who seems to be Rayquaza, it's not known definitively if this is the case, although a Pokemon like Rayquaza, who lives in the sky and is a counterpart to Pokemon of the land and sea who are pure ground and water types, it would make a lot of sense as a pure flying type. And last but not least, we have a few more dual-typed Pokemon who all used to have different secondary types than they do now. Girafarig used to be Dark Normal instead of Normal Psychic, a change that probably came along with its design change, as it originally had much more of a sinister side to it. pun definitely intended, by the way. Scizor, as of the 97 Gold and Silver demo, had also yet to receive its Steel typing and was still Bug Flying, just like Scyther, and Dustox from Hoenn was also Bug Flying instead of Bug Poison. So those were 25 Pokemon who used to have different types. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you're new for more Pokemon content all the time. I will see you all very soon with another video as well, and until then, as always, I love you guys, thanks for watching, and I will smell you all later.